system, which is broken down this way. You got white police discrimination, white and black biased prosecutors, emasculated public defenders, plea bargaining, judges who get bonuses for sending blacks to jail, private prisons for profit, state prisons for profit, prison stock sold on the stock exchange owned by the politicians, police, prosecutors, and judges. Prisons provide jobs for rural whites, federal funding for imprisoning people of color, the indifference of corporations whose profit margins come from indiscriminate black spending habits. Example, Black Friday. Racist whites and swamp blacks without a conscience are indoctrinated into this world of oppression. News broadcasts which depict blacks as less than human. White women calling the police on black men in general and black families that are barbecuing in the park. The Department of Child Support, facilitated by our own people of color. Brothers need to take care of their kids, though. We understand that. But we need to create an economic infrastructure so they can have jobs that can support their women and raise a family. The Department of Foster Care that's stripping our children from our households due to economic reasons. Courthouses. Immigration. Immigration was started to dilute blacks' economic strength and power. The criminal court system. Black pastors and black churches. They're all a part of this system and it's just a few things. But these things need to be attacked. We can list them, we can identify them, and we can dismantle these as obstacles to black progress. These systems feed the racist psyche of white America and emboldens them to act against the interests of black people all over this planet. The court passing laws that say there is no law with respect to a black person that a white person needs to respect. And this law is still in the books today. This is how a judge can issue a no-knock warrant, which leads to the murder of a black woman while she slept, and they then tried to charge the boyfriend with attempted murder because he tried to protect his property from invasion after bringing down the door of the house without a warning. Shock and awe. What about 3 white men in Georgia attacking a black man and killing him because he was jogging in a white neighborhood in America by an ex-police officer and his son? You then have a black man executed by 4 police officers, with 3 of them holding him down, with a white officer telling him to get up, bro, while another officer strangled him with a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, while 4 minutes into the ordeal, he was begging for his life, telling the officer he could not breathe. White America has a degenerate, unevolved mind, emboldened by these institutions of white supremacy, which supports these degenerate, uncivilized barbarians who hold themselves out to the world as being civilized. What about the white woman who continuously call the police about a black man that they are being threatened merely by his presence? Recently, a white woman in the park with her dog, not on the leash, and a black man requested that she follow the law and put the dog on the leash. Law and order applies to black Americans, but not to white Americans, as appears. How dare you tell me what to do, she thought. She lied on video when she called the police that a black man was threatening her and the life of her dog, whom she was choking out. Poor animal. Suppose those police officers responded in a racist fashion. We would be talking about his death as well. The black man who was entering into his own apartment when a white woman called the police and they came and shot him down in front of his own apartment. What about the white policewoman who went into the wrong apartment and shot the brother sitting in his own home, just chilling? She said she was afraid for her life in an apartment she knew was not hers. White women as well as white men have no humanity when it comes to black lives. Question. We have talked about the causes. What are the symptoms of niggeritis? A social uprising. The symptom is a social uprising that we are experiencing right now and over the years to a white power structure that is not taking this matter seriously. Black America has been very tolerant and indifferent to its own ills such as excess imprisonment of its population, excessive poverty, foster care, homelessness, poor public education, and so forth. But what we can't take anymore is the needless taking of black lives by the police. Over 1,000 black lives a year are taken by police, not to mention the damages caused to the psyche of the black community, short of taking a life. Enough is enough, and we are sick and tired of asking for them to do the right thing. Remember, this colonizer's corporate entity was born in violence, and they export violence throughout the planet. Violence is the only thing that white America responds to. Let me say this. These white colonizers have taught black America how to burn and destroy neighborhoods. What's a colonizer? A colonizer is a person who invades another country and enslaved the people, the inhabitants of that country, just like they did in South Africa. They did in Australia. They exterminated entire races of people, and they did in America. Came here and colonized this country. And they have done it so effectively that we don't even refer them as colonizers, and they replaced the original black American, and now they call themselves Americans. So they, like I said, they strip you of our identity, and then they put their name on it. Question. I understand that you have created a strategy to combating racism in America. What is your strategy and solution? All right. The strategic solution is to dismantle, to take apart, tear down the institutions of oppression, starting with their system of legalized slavery, which is the criminal just us system, forcing these white colonizers to get their knee off of black people's necks so they can prosper in America, in their own land. Finally, I have created a program that will teach black America and people of color a social, political, and economic system that will give them the education and tools to empower themselves, their families, and force the dismantling, the tearing apart of these institutions of oppression. This is Real Talk on Prosperity Radio. Afro-Americans are the real Native Americans, while whites are colonizing invaders from the Caucasoid mountainous region. And this is not your land. These white colonizers, illegal immigrants, must learn to become lovers of humanity on the earth, which unfortunately appears to be against their nature at this time in their evolution. Unless we can somehow help them along by empowering ourselves and communities of color. Question. How can the people get involved and begin the process of intellectual renewal and economic empowerment in order to defeat racism, the enemy of the American people? Sure. Just log on to the website, boardwalklifeplan.com, and spend some serious reflection time and not just briefly look at the website. If you can't read yet, or you have a 3-second attention span, just check out my videos on YouTube. This period in history should be taken just as serious as police abuse and institutional racism, because this is how we can collectively gain the knowledge and the political and economic strength to force America to change. But we must first take a different approach and strategy in the war against institutional racism, poverty, despair, and racist oppression. We can force corporations to address this issue by making sure that we stop spending our money with businesses that only want our money but do not support our right to live in peace. This is hypocrisy. But just like a bully, if you don't fight back, the bully will only get more emboldened, more strengthened, get more courage if you do not defend yourself and fight back. We need to stop giving our votes to politicians who only give American lip service during election time, and yet we refuse to evolve by learning our lessons and keep doing the same thing over and over again, which is called insanity, when we expect different results. If you want respect, tell these colonizers that our votes are no longer free. We must create a list of demands. No ticky, no laundry. Question. Great. This sounds like a great strategy. Is this program just for indigenous Afro-Americans? No. This is an American plan. Notwithstanding, Black Americans who are the original indigenous Americans being held in bondage in their own land. And this program has been created from this perspective, giving all people the opportunity to learn and grow together. However, this program is for every person and every family who want to restore the American dream and are tired of less than 1% of the population owning 99% of the wealth. This has to change. I hope this will be the beginning of a movement to strengthen each person and family by educating them in the creation, accumulation, and preservation of wealth. It is a personal development program that will force these colonizers to evolve into a real democracy with life, liberty, and justice for all. This program is designed to eliminate institutional racism, oppression, and poverty, but we have to strategically fight back, not only through uprisings, but we have to outsmart them and punish them economically, which money and power is their God. Take away their money, God, by not supporting their institutions of hatred and oppression, which feed into racist policies, and racism will end. Be careful of smiling faces that don't tell the truth. Question. So in summary, you are saying that nigga-itis is the inability of the Black community to understand how racism works and their lack of understanding the process of dismantling, tearing apart racism once and for all. And you have developed a program which would teach us and train us how to not only recognize how racism works, but how to attack and dismantle racism in America once and for all. And that this is another strategy for those involved in peaceful and violent uprisings to bring an end to racism in America. You are telling us that we have to think different and act different. So we want to make a difference in ending poverty, oppression, and racism, that we need to log on and get involved in this movement that you've created for us. That's an excellent summary. Okay, question. Great. This is definitely a breath of fresh air, designed to invigorate our souls and bring us together as a nation. But we have to put some work in ourselves in order to change the narrative in our own minds and stop worrying about what white people think about us. It's about how much you are willing to put in the work in order to step up our game. Let's build some new pyramids in this 21st century. It's time for change. Are there any final words? Yeah, I agree with that. So are there any final words you would like to say to the audience before we sign off? Thank you. God is testing us right now. This government is testing us right now. We knew something was going on, and this could possibly be the next phase of their agenda, in order to see how we're going to respond as a nation. Whether we will be distracted and go back to sleep as we have done in the past, or will we use this opportunity to renew ourselves in order to step up our game. No matter the outcome of these recent disturbances within our communities, we must incorporate a different strategy in order for us to reach a different outcome. When I left home at the age of 18 and throughout my life, it has been a commitment to make sure that I use my education and experience to liberate the minds of my family and Black community. I have often heard from our community and our youth that successful Black people never reach back to us in the community. Let me make 2 points here before I close. First point being, from experience, you can't put good money on a poor investment because it will be lost. Remix, meaning you can't help someone if they're not interested in helping themselves. And second point, you must have the mental ability to recognize opportunities when they are being presented and take advantage of them. These are 2 very important points. A final point is that no one can save you but you. And if you work on yourself first, then joining with other like-minded individuals, tremendous progress can be made. The program I have created to re-educate and heal the minds of our people must be taken seriously. I am reaching back and have invested in the Black community And will I get a return on my investment?